worries. Hey there, everyone who has joined so far. We're just gonna give it maybe another minute or so and see if anyone else filters in. But for right now, just taking it easy. We shouldn't need any props for this class. If you know you like to use blocks or just something to add a little bit of height underneath your hands, feel free to go and grab those now, or grab some books or soup cans or whatever, just to use as props if you need it. All right, I think we should get started now. So I'm Haley. Thank you for joining me tonight. We're going to be doing some work on the hamstrings. So mostly working on flexibility, so lengthening the muscle. We're going to be doing a little bit of strengthening just because that comes naturally, but focus is on flexibility. I know I have been a little bit more tight this last month, sitting a little bit more than usual, so hopefully this finds you well. We're going to get started on our backs. So finding a comfortable lying down position, whatever that looks like to you. If you want some support underneath the spine, feel free to add a block or a bolster. Letting the legs fall however you would like. And once you arrive, start to settle into your body, get out any wiggles, any shakes, anything for you to feel at ease here. And you can close the eyes if you haven't already. And begin to anchor into your body here. And let the breath start to anchor you down. So bring the awareness to the breath. Breath in, breath out. Notice how you have arrived here. How has your breath arrived? You might feel a little bit quick, a little bit shallow once you arrive. But start to begin to deepen the breath. Draw the breath all the way down to the belly. And begin to find your way to this present moment by bringing your awareness to your body. So what does it feel like to be here energetically, emotionally, and physically? When we first come to our practice, it might be a bit intimidating, it might be uncomfortable, you might feel anxious, trying to find stillness. and sitting with what's happening internally. And trying not to label anything if it's positive or negative, just sitting with what is. Begin to witness this moment unfolding. And begin to create space in the body as you unfold your thoughts, unfold your emotions. Breathe. And giving yourself the permission to let go of anything that doesn't serve you. And trying not to hold on to anything. Letting the breath in create the space in your body, emotionally, energetically, and physically. And exhale anything that's not serving you emotionally, energetically, or physically. And surrender to this moment. And when you're ready, you can start to bring some wiggles into the body. And then draw the knees to the chest. Give yourself a big hug here. Rocking side to side. And then draw the knees to the armpits. So making your way into your happy baby pose. So knees to armpits. Press the sits bones, the low back into the earth. You can grab hold of behind the knees or ankles or outside edges of the feet. Starting to get into the hips. You might want to rock side to side. Gaze can stay soft here. Just beginning to feel into your body. And then release the feet or wherever you are holding on to. Lengthen the legs out long in front of you. And take a full body stretch here. Arms reach overhead. Finding this length all the way from the tips of the toes, energetically through the fingertips. And then draw the right leg into the chest, but keep the leg long here. You can stay just like this, or you can wrap the hands behind the hamstring, maybe up to the calf, maybe fingers to toe, starting to open up the back of the leg. And then switching out the legs, right leg long, left heel reaches to the top of the room, hands behind the hamstring, calf or ankle. And then hug the knees into the chest. Start to rock and roll up and down your spine, taking about 5 to 8 rocks. And then we're going to meet in our boat pose, so Navasana. Once you're ready, arriving there, Feet can stay lifted or on the ground, shins parallel or legs long. Hands can be next to the hips or reaching out in front of you. Starting to activate the center of the body. Keep the chest broad, roll the shoulders down the back. Gaze can be up where the corners or where the wall and ceiling meet. Checking in with the quality of your breath here. The breath is compromised. Maybe modifying the pose to allow the breath to come in a bit more fuller and deeper. One more round of breath here. Your body might be shaking. And then lower the feet down, legs long on the mat. Inhale, lift the fingertips overhead. Flex the toes back to the hips. And then reaching from the sits bones out through the fingertips, take a forward fold. So let the forehead drape down to the legs. Reaching out through the crown of the head, find length through the spine, expanding through the vertebrae. And then hinging at the hips to fold you deeper. And then releasing, rolling back up. Right foot to the inner thigh of the left leg. Squaring off the shoulders over the left leg. Fingertips rise. And then exhale, fold you over the front leg. And then releasing, rolling the spine back up. Right hand comes behind the hips. Modified wild thing. Reach the left fingertips overhead. Press the hips to the front of the room. Releasing the front of the body. And then lower back down. Switching out the legs. Right leg long, left foot comes to the right inner thigh. Squaring off the shoulders. Fingertips rise. Inhale, find length. Exhale, reaching out through the fingertips, fold over the front leg. Inhale, lifts you back up. Left hand behind your hips, press into the left shin. Lift the hips, right fingertips reach behind you. Press the hips forward. Modified wild thing. And then lower the hips back down. Cross at the ankles. Step yourself back, downward facing dog. So hands will land shoulders width, feet land hips width. First down dog of the day probably, so taking any movement here, maybe bouncing, wiggling the hips, shaking the head yes, shaking the head no. And open and close the mouth. And then finding stillness in your down dog. On our next inhale, roll forward to your high plank. Shoulders come over the wrists, hips in line with the shoulders. Bend the knees, lift your hips back in space, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Bend the knees, hips back in space, downward facing dog. One more time, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, bend the elbows to the back of the room. Start a slow descent onto the belly and tuck the toes. Press the tops of the feet into the earth. Squeeze the triceps together. Roll the shoulders down the back. Lift the chest, lift the head, baby cobra. Exhale to lower. Inhale, baby cobra, maybe growing a bit taller. Stay active through the legs, kneecaps lifted. Exhale to lower. Inhale to cobra. This time playing with lifting the hands. You might lower a little bit, engaging the back side of the body, and then lower. Press yourself back, tabletop or high plank, downward facing dog. Inhale, heels lift, bend your knees. Exhale, tiptoe your way to the top of your mat. Feet can land hips width or a little bit wider. Hands grab opposite triceps, ragdoll. Knees can take a generous bend. Let the body sway back and forth. Crown of the head reaches to the earth. And then release the hands. Soften the knees. Rolling up to standing. Crown of the head last to rise. Shoulders are high up to the ears. Roll the shoulders back. Take a couple shoulder circles. Inhale to sweep the fingertips overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bowing through center, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Inhale to shift forward. Exhale, you can lower halfway or to the belly. Breath in, cobra or upward facing dog, broaden through the collarbones. Exhale, rolling over the toes or moving through high plank, downward facing dog. Full breath in, lift the heels, bend your knees. Exhale, step or hop your way top of the mat. Halfway lift, breath in. Exhale to fold. Root to rise, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, right away, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale to plant your hands, step or hop your way through your chaturanga or head straight to your downward facing dog. Next breath in, lift your right heel. Bend the knee, open your hip. Taking any movement here to bring some life into the right leg, right hip. And then squaring off the hips. Inhale, find length. Exhale, draw the knee to the left tricep. And then shift the weight to the back heel, knife edge of the foot, roots. Kick the right leg to the left side. Fall in triangle. Left fingertips can lift to the top of the room or to the front of the room. Cross the hips up. And then left hand lowers. Shift the weight over to the knife edge side of the left foot, so you're coming into side plank. You might want to lower the left knee down. Lift the right fingertips to the top of the room. Side plank. Vashisthasana. Keep pressing into the left hand. Lift the hips up higher. And then plant the right hand. Three-legged dog, right heel lifts. Touch the right toes between the hands. Standing splits, top of the mat. Left toes lift. Bow into the right leg. Think about rolling the right hip back and rolling the left hip forward. One more round of breath here. Inhale to find length through the spine. Exhale to fold forward. Touch the left toes back, left knee lands. Inhale, Vinyasa, low lunge. Exhale, shift the hips back, hands melt next to the hand or next to the front leg. Peel the right toes off the mat, half splits. Reach the heart forward. Exhale, fold over the front leg. Bend into the right knee once again, plant the hands, step yourself back, high plank, maybe keep the right heel lifted. And then take your chaturanga. Meeting inner downward facing dog. Next breath, left heel lifts. Bend your knee, open your hip. Left hip stacks on top of right. Keeping the shoulders stacked here, maybe taking some circles. And inviting any movement to the left side. Next breath, squaring off the hips, left leg long, inhale. Exhale, draw the knee to the right armpit, right tricep. Kick the foot to the right side. Roll onto the inside edge of the right foot. Lift your hips, right fingertips to the top of the room or front of the room. Ball and triangle. Plant the right hand. Knife edge of the foot, right foot, rolling onto that side. What is this? Side plank on the right side. Feet stack at the back of your mat. Press into the right hand, hips lift higher. One more round of breath here. Left hand plants, three-legged dog, left hand lifts. Touch the toes between the hands. Shift the weight forward, right toes lift, standing splits, top of the mat. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale to fold over the left leg. Touch the right toes back, right knee lowers. Inhale to your end, Vinyasa, fingertips rise overhead. Next exhale, shift the hips back, peel the left toes off the mat. Half splits. Right toes back down, bend the front knee, plant the hands, tuck the back toes, maybe three-legged plank, your choice for chaturanga, meaning in our downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend your knees. Exhale, step or hop your way top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Arms circle overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, sweep the fingertips overhead. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop your way through your chaturanga. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. Next breath, right heel lifts, bend the knee, open the hip. And then draw the knee to the left tricep. Fall in triangle, kick the foot through. Left fingertips lift. Planting through the left palm. Side plank on the left side, your choice to lower the left knee. Right fingertips lift. Maybe this time lift the right foot off the mat. Hug the knee to the chest. And then try stepping the foot to the front of the mat. Standing splits, top of the mat. Left heel lifts. Pull right outer hip back. Pull left outer hip forward. Inhale here. Exhale to deepen. Try planting the hands on the mat. Maybe on some blocks if you need a little bit of height. We're going to come into some wrist taps with the left toes. So try keeping the left leg long. We'll try hugging the left toes to the left wrist. And then inhale to lengthen back. Exhale to contract. Try bringing the toes to the wrist. One more time to lengthen. Bring the toes to the left wrist. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen the leg back. Bend the back, or bend the front knee. Land the back knee. Inhale, low lunge, Vinyasa. Shift the hips back, half splits. Plant the front foot. Step yourself back, lowering through chaturanga. Option to keep right toes lifted. Left heel lifts, bend the knee, stack your hips. Next breath out, draw the left knee to the right side. Shoot the leg through, fallen triangle. And then trying to move like water, plant the right hand. Shift the weight to the knife edge, side of the right foot, side plank. Try lifting the left heel. Try hugging the knee to the chest. And moving like honey, try stepping the foot to the front of the mat. Standing splits. Right toes lift, both legs long. And then try rooting the hands onto the mat, maybe onto some props. We're gonna come back into those toe to wrist touches. So right leg stays long, flexing through the right foot. Try drawing the right toes to the right wrist. And then inhale to lengthen. Right toes to right wrist. Lengthen. Toes to wrist. One more time, lengthen. Touch the toes back, land the right knee, inhale, Vinyasa. Shift your hips back, half splits. And then planting through the hands. Your choice for chaturanga, and we'll meet in our downward facing dog. Full breath in here. Open the mouth to let everything go and surrender. Inhale. Exhale to fold. Circle the arms overhead. Exhale, Anjali, move your hands to heart. Inhale to sweep the arms overhead. Exhale to fold forward. Halfway lift. This time, right foot stays. Left foot steps back about 2 to 3 feet. Coming into our heel to heel alignment. So left foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Shift the right hip back, pull the left hip forward. Inhale, let's come up to standing first. Reach the arms overhead. And then start hinging at the hips to reach your fingertips to the front of the room. And then fold over the front leg, coming into your pyramid pose. So both legs are long here. If you want to add in a couple props underneath the hands, if your hands can't quite reach, feel free to do so. Think about drawing length through the spine every inhale. And then folding deeper on every exhale, drawing the nose to the right knee. Stay rooted through the right big toe. Remembering to breathe here. And then keeping the left hand where it is, you might want to put a block underneath the hand if there isn't one already. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Roll the right shoulder down the back. Start spinning the torso to the right side. We're going to come into our revolved triangle pose. So you can keep spinning the torso. Think about reaching the left side of the chest to the right side of the room. If you feel comfortable and stable, you might want to reach the right fingertips to the top of the room. Keep drawing the right hip back, left hip forward. Keep squeezing the inner thighs together. Stay anchored through the big toes. If the breath is ever compromised, maybe backing out of the pose a little bit. Releasing the right hand to the hip, then draw the hands to your heart center. Launching off into your warrior three pose, so weight shifts to the right foot, left toes lift. Your right glutes might be burning, mine for sure are. You're not alone. Keep the chest long. Stay flexed through the left foot. Holding here for one more round of breath. And then lowering the left hand at a diagonal out in front of you, in front of the right big toe. Right hand can come to the right hip. We're coming into revolved half moon. So you might want to reach the right arm to the top of the room. Stay strong through the back leg, strong through the standing leg. One more round of breath here. And then touch the hands down. Standing splits just for a beat. Touch the left toes back down. Weight shifts to the right or the edge of the left foot. Side plank, left side. Stack the feet at the back of the mat. Right fingertips reach to the top of the room. Try lifting the right foot off of the left foot. Touch the right toes behind the left leg. Wild thing, if it's in your practice, lift the hips, reach the right fingertips to the front of the room. Plant the right hand. Your choice for chaturanga. We'll meet in our downward facing dog. Full breath in to lift the heels, bend the knees. Exhale, gaze shifts up, step or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift on your breath in. Exhale to fold forward. Root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana, arms reach overhead. Exhale, Anjali Mudra, hands to heart. Reach the fingertips up. Exhale, fold you forward. Halfway lift. This time, left foot stays, right toes touch back. And landing about 2 to 3 feet from each other. Heel to heel alignment, back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Inhale to reach the arms overhead. Both legs are long here. Right hip pulls forward, left hip draws back. Inhale to hinge at the hips, reach through the fingertips. And then exhale to fold you over the front leg. Stay rooted through the left big toe. Hands can land on some props. And remembering the breath here. And every exhale, trying to fold the body deeper. Right hand stays where it is. Left hand hops on the left hip. Roll the left shoulder down the back. Starting to twist the torso over to the left side. Right heel stays rooted. Right hand might need to come to a prop if you need the extra height. Keep twisting the torso. If you want it, left fingertips might reach to the top of the rooms. Keep hugging the inner thighs together. Stay rooted through the left big toe. Keep rolling the left hip back, right hip forward. Next round of breath, hands come to the heart. Shift the weight to the left foot. Pick up the right toes. Warrior three, top of the mat. Stay active through the right foot. Broad through the chest. Keep the gaze soft. Left hand comes to the left hip once again. Right hand comes a little bit in front of you at a diagonal from the left big toe. You might want to add in a little prop underneath the right hand. And then start to roll the left shoulder once again down the back. Left fingertips can reach up to the top of the room. Coming into a revolved half moon pose. One more round of breath here. And then left hand lowers, standing splits just for a beat. Right toes touch back, hands frame the front foot. Then shift the weight to the right side, side plank on the right side. Left foot might stay lifted or lowered. And then try playing with your wild thing. So left toes might lift. Touch the toes behind the right leg. Lift the hips up. Pressing into the feet to find your base. Reach the left fingertips forward. And then rolling through your chaturanga if it's there for you. If not, downward facing dog. Take a moment here to land the knees wide, big toes together. Balasana, child's pose. Reach the arms out in front of you. Let the forehead land on the mat. And then start to walk the hands a little bit forward. Hips peel off the heels. Melt the heart down. And coming into our puppy pose. So hips will be in line with the knees. Just coming into a micro heart opener, back bend. And then walking the hands back in. Root down through the hands, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Next breath. Lift the right heel. Bend the knee, open the hip. Wild thing if you want it. Right toes touch behind the left. Spin the left toes to the back of the room. Lift the hips. And then right hand plants. Shift the right knee over to the left side. Fallen triangle. And then left hand plants. Side plank on the left side. Maybe keep the right heel lifted using the strength of the outer glute. And then bend the knee. Hug the knee to the chest. Step the foot to the top of the mat. This time, half moon right away. So right hand comes to at a diagonal from the right pinky toe on a block or the earth. Left fingertips peel to the top of the room. Stack the hips. And then left hand plants. Standing splits, top of the mat. Holding here. Coming back into those wrist taps. On our next exhale, hug the left toes into the left wrist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to hug the toes in, to tap, lengthen. One more time to hug, holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen back. Touch the left toes down. Lengthen the right leg, modified pyramid. Fold over the front leg. And then left hand stays, right fingertips peel to the top of the room. Circle the right fingertips down to the back of the room, to the front of the room. Taking a couple circles here. Working on the shoulders. And then weight will shift to the front foot. Revolved half moon once more. Left hand a little bit in front of the right foot at a diagonal. Open the right arm to the top of the room. And then touch the toes down. Lower the back knee, shift the hips back, low lunge, or half splits, my bad. You can stay here, or if it's in your practice and you want to lower the sits bones onto the left heel, this gets a little bit stretchier on the right side. And then start to walk the hands back in front of the front foot. Tuck the toes, chaturanga if it's there for you. We're going to meet in our downward facing dog. Left heel lifts, bend the knees, stack the hips. Wild thing if it's in your practice. Once more. Press into the feet to lift the hips. And then left hand touches down. Left knee to the right armpit. Kick the foot through, fallen triangle. And then plant the right hand. Shift the weight to the right side. Side plank. Left foot might stay lifted. Using that glute strength. Hug the knee to the chest. Step the foot through. This time, half moon right away. Left hand outside of the left foot at a diagonal. Stack the right hip on top of left. Right fingertips can peel to the top of the room. And then lower the right hand down. Standing splits. Squaring off the hips. Right hand down, left fingertips peel up to the top of the room. Coming into your revolved half moon pose. Lower the left hand back down. Touch the right toes back, lower the right knee. Shift the hips back, half splits. Your choice if you want to take it a little deeper, if you want to sink the hips onto the heels. If you have any knee issues, try avoiding this if you feel any pinching or pain. Stay active through the left foot, so flexing the toes to the face. And then walking the hands back to frame the front foot, bend the knee. Tuck the back toes, chaturanga, meeting in our downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees. Exhale, step or hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Circle the arms overhead. Exhale, gently move your hands to heart. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, lift the fingertips. Exhale, swan dive, heart pours forward. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, step or hop, lowering through chaturanga. Meeting in our downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the right heel. Draw the right knee to the right tricep. Glide the knee down to the right wrist. Plant the shin. Lower the back knee and tuck the toes. Hands can frame the front knee. Bring on to fingertips. Internally rotate the left thigh. So that essentially pulls the left hip forward. Right hip draws back to square the pelvis. You can stay here. You want to start to melt forward, coming into your sleeping pigeon. And start to walk the hands back in, hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the back toes. Inhale, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open your hip. Your choice for one more wild thing if it's in you. And then meeting back in our down dog, three-legged dog actually. This time hug the left or the right knee to the left tricep, then kick the foot through. And then we'll lower slowly onto the right hip. Keep the back foot long, so leg is parallel from the hip to the back toes, back heel. So leg is long. Try keeping the top of the left foot rooted. And then you can stay on your fingertips if this is enough. Or if you want to, you can come down on forearms. So getting a little bit deeper in the right outer hip. You want a little bit more. You can reach the left arm to the right side. Coming into a thread the needle, right arm reaches out in front. Gaze can shift underneath the right armpit. And then coming back, unwinding. You took the thread. Planting into the hands. Lift yourself up, downward facing dog. Lay out the feet. Notice if one side feels a little different than the other. Inhale, left heel lifts. Bend the knee, wild thing if it's there for you one more time. Point out the right hand or left hand. Draw the left knee to the left shoulder. Then lower it down to the wrist, plant the shin, untuck the back toes, lower the right knee. You choose your depth. If you want to stay on hands, feel free to do so. If you want to start walking the fingertips forward. Keep internally rotating the right inner thigh, drawing the left hip back, pulling the right hip forward. And starting to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the back toe. Inhale, three-legged dog. Draw the knee to the right side. Kick foot through. And then slowly lower down onto the left hip. Right leg stays long, hip in line with the heel. Staying on hands. You start to walk yourself forward. If you want to come into that thread the needle, reach the right arm to the left side. Left arm reaches to the front of the room. Getting into the shoulders a little bit, upper back. And coming back onto your hands, pressing into the hands firmly. Tuck the back toes, three-legged dog. And then downward facing dog. Lower the shins down to the mat, sinking onto the heels. And then you can kick the feet out in front of you. We're going to come into a seated wide-legged forward fold. So actually open up the legs wide. Keep the toes flexed back to your nose. If you need a little prep underneath your sits bones, like a blanket or something, just to boost you up a little bit and to help shift you forward a little, feel free to do so. Either way, reach the arms overhead. And then hinging at your hips. If there's any pinching in the knees or anywhere else, like in the hips, backing out of the pose a little bit, you might need to soften the chest on a pillow or a block. Surrendering to this pose. So it can be quite intense. One of my least favorite poses because you can't get into it super deeply. And it's pretty tough, so just learning to sit with wherever you are at in your journey, in this pose, remembering to breathe through it. And starting to lengthen the spine back upright. Bring the hands underneath the thighs to hug the knees, help the knees back in. Plant the feet. Press the hands behind the hips, so fingertips face the hips. Press into the feet, into the hands. Lift your hips, reverse tabletop, just to release all the contraction that we've done in the hips, release the shoulders. And then lower the hips back down. Reach the arms to the front of the room. And then using the core to get you there, lowering onto the back, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take a full body stretch once you arrive. Hug the knees into your chest. Arms come out to a T, maybe cactus. Let the knees fall to the left side. Lift the hips off to the right side. Legs can stay bent or you can straighten them. Shift the gaze over to the right if it's okay on the neck. And travel the knees back through center. Rock the knees over to the right side. Lift the hips off to the left. Knees bent or straight. Gaze can shift to the left side. Knees hug back to your chest. And then land yourself in Supta Baddha Konasana. So recline bound angle, recline butterfly. Heels of the feet together, knees out wide. You can add pillows or props underneath the knees if you need a little bit more support. Place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Starting to let go of your breath, any rhythm. And letting the body become heavy here. So no effort, no engagement, just ease. You can stay here for your final resting pose. You want to take traditional Shavasana, feel free to go there now. Let the eyes gently close, staying soft. Bring your awareness back through your body. And checking back in with yourself. Energetically, emotionally, and physically. And how do you feel? And whatever that feeling is, or thought, emotion, letting that pass by and become the witness behind these emotions and thoughts. So giving no connection, no identity, no label to all of these. And this is your life. Surrender to this moment. Shavasana. And when you're ready, starting to bring some movement back into your body. Rolling onto one side of your mat. Resting in a fetal position just for a moment before making your way up to a comfortable seat. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep belly breath in through the nose. Exhale to sigh it out, drawing thumbs to the heart center. Letting the fingers rest on the lips, bowing the head gently. And using the hands as the pathway from your heart to your actions. From my heart to yours. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely, lovely night. My name is Haley again. If you need anything, any questions, concerns, otherwise, I will see you next time.